All right, everybody, welcome back to Willard Art Frame's Artist Insight series. We are here with Jannelle Loewen, a local artist, and to hear about her artistic journey. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for asking me.
So, to get started, what we really want to know first is, how would you describe your artistic journey?
Well, I knew these questions ahead of time just a little bit, so I've been thinking about it and I want to get it right. I'm not the best speaker in the world, so I might refer to my notes every so often. But my artistic journey started when I was 6, I think, probably earlier, but this is my earliest memory. My mother and I used to sit at the table and do coloring books together. And she's a fantastic artist, was a fantastic artist. And she would use 4 or 5 greens, yellows, oranges, to do these florals. And I had my one, Kelly green crayon. And I learned real quick that there was a lot more to art than I had anticipated. So, she created these nuances of color, these subtle colors and beautiful light and darks and everything, and I was just absolutely so inspired. I wasn't intimidated, I was inspired. And so, I'm going, well, let me try that. And so I did, and I had great success. And I learned about success, I think. I learned about the subtleties of art and how we can all create beauty. And that was just so much fun. So that was the beginning of my artistic journey. I have one other little short story. So about that, that Christmas I got a set of oil paints, and to be gifted with something so grown up was really good. So I learned self-confidence too, and pride in myself in a good way. I think that's important to develop a good ego at that age, and then of course when you're my age now, you try to get rid of things on the ego, but it's all progress. When I was 10, I was drawing a picture of my hand and looking at it, and doing the wrinkles and the fingers and the fingernails and all this kind of stuff, and it turned out really well. And I took it to school, and they called my parents immediately and said, "You need to come down. Your daughter is a liar and a cheater, and we need to talk to her about what she's doing." And so they came down and they said, "Well, have her draw the picture in front of you," which they did, and I did. And again, I learned about human character there, but also again self-confidence and pride, and that was good. It was a good experience overall, because I could you can prove to people that you can do what you can do. So I think I have a bit of a gift, and I want to use it for good. And doing this interview is really fun. I've been a teacher. And I have taught art classes, and that's always a good experience, because I think whatever you do creates ripples in the world, and we want good ripples.
Yeah. So when you started to become a professional artist, how did that transition from your learning art as a child into adulthood?
Well, when you're in college and then you're doing a job, and I lived in New York for a while and went to the galleries back east in Washington, D.C. and New York, was very inspired by all the artists there. And then, getting married, have a family, raising kids. Then I joined IFA, which is they've changed their name, Evergreen Association of Fine Art. And that's a community of artists on the east side. And started joining them and joining shows, and I won prizes in lots of shows. So Bastyr used to have one. I can't name them all. Northwest Pastel Society. Anyway, lots of societies, a lot of art societies. Joined them all. Sent paintings in. Won lots of first places and things like that. So again, that was confidence building, and just so much fun to see yourself get better and better and so on.
Yeah, just to see that your art is out there in the community. So where do you find your best inspirations come from? how did you develop your artistic process
Right.
around all that?
That is an interesting question, and I think the answer is whatever you're drawn to, and I mean that word. So drawn to, what is it about things that you're looking at that you want to draw and paint, and this gets into the reason for all civilized society, I think, and sociology and therapy and politics and everything. So when I look at something, it has, and I want to draw it, there's something, I believe there is something in me that is an echo of that. So when I look at a mountain, what is it? Why do I want to draw that mountain? I think it has a language. I think nature has a language, and scientists study it all the time. Artists study it by looking at color and shape and light and value and what's important to an artist as it is to a scientist is what substrate are you putting it on, what size are you doing, how what kind of brushes are you using, like anything can work, but it's important to see not just what's good but what's better. And if we really get into it and study a lot, and there's a lot to study, that's why people take classes and all kinds of things, and you learn as you go. But how can we get to the best? And when we get to the best, it's stunning. And how do we get to that part? Sometimes I read that there's a muse traveling around the planet, and if an artist is open to that kind of takeover, I hope I am, because I think that's happened occasionally, and it's just wonderful to produce something that you're really proud of, that really resonates, with other people as well as your own soul. So to me, that's soulfulness, and that's how greatness happens in anything: architecture, fabric making, pottery, you name it, writing, so on and so forth.
That is so beautiful. I completely agree. Who are some of your favorite artists?
Well, I have to go back to my mother. My mother was a great artist, and my grandmother and my aunt were too. So they created quilts. They didn't get the recognition, of course, as other people in the society did at that time and still do, but they fell in love with workmanship, with inspiration, with anticipation. And once you do that, you produce it whether you're famous and get money or not, because it's just such a joy. The problem is producing too much, and then you have storage issues. Which I have, storage issues. So, and I love, young artists, what they're coming up with, new artists that coming up with new ideas and stuff. It's just so much fun to see. My granddaughter, we're the Grand Art Company. I'm the grandmother, she's the granddaughter, we're grand artists. She made these earrings, so they're made out of quilling, and they're tiny little pieces of paper that are wrapped really tight in colors and stuff. My daughter also is a painter, but she paints little tiny game pieces with a 3-bristle brush, and the detail that she can get on the armor and the clothing and eyes and things like that is just awesome. I mean, I like seeing things like that. I like seeing when you're hiking down a path and somebody's made artistic thing in the path with pine cones and leaves and things like that. It's temporary art, but it's beautiful. It's such a surprise. I love that kind of thing. I love driving by a field and seeing a giant bison made out of tractor parts.
Right.
Or, whatever's the surprise. People are so innovative and creative, and it takes a clever mind and a light bulb moment, aha moment, I think, sometimes to see that. And I hope I have that in my work. I like looking at really big trees from an unusual perspective, or in real dramatic light, just something that shakes you to the core. And in order to study that vocabulary, that message, I paint it. That's how I get to the meaning of it all, I think.
I love that you have like this beautiful, rich family of artistry and creativity around you. It really just really comes out through you and your artwork, and it's so lovely to see that. What advice would you have for up and coming artists, whether they're kids or adults? What would you give as advice for them?
Not so much advice as just encouragement and happiness and joy in their trying and in their endeavor. I never say I'm a failure when there's a bad painting. I always say this is a failed canvas. And you can learn so much from your mistakes. So, don't give up, never give up, and wait a day or two, your sadness will go away and you can start over again. I mean, I find that my desire to paint, I never don't have it. I might have to wait a day or two. I hear writers have writer's block. I've never had artist block. Never. I mean, just wait a day or two, it'll come back. I mean, the joy of doing it will, it's always so much fun. Or you see something in nature or an idea from another painting or a gallery. Go to galleries, for heaven's sakes. Go visit galleries. They're so inspiring.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. This was wonderful to talk to you and hear about your journey and what inspires you and how you've created this world around you. We do have one of your lovely images here for our Red show, which we have a reception coming up, and we're really excited about that. So thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
And
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely, go for it.
As far as advice goes, I want to do a podcast or a TV interview about decorating your house. Okay, so real art definitely has an enlightening aspect to it and an energy that will give good vibes to your new place. It's really important.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you again, and we'll see you at the reception.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.